What is generative AI? More than 7 out of 10 businesses, whether they build for expertise or ship physical products, are already weaving generative AI into daily work. If the phrase generative AI still feels mysterious, you're in exactly the right place. Over the next few minutes, you'll get a plain English understanding that will pay off no matter what you sell or the service you provide. We'll spotlight service-based examples because that's where many businesses or learners start, but every principle you pick up applies just as well to product businesses, using AI on your jobs, side hustles, or the big idea you haven't launched yet. Let's define the term and set you up for lasting wins. After this lesson, you'll be able to explain in plain English terms like artificial intelligence, generative AI model, and understand the term and use of a large language model, or LLM. You'll be able to describe a simple prompt to output loop every generative tool follows. You'll recognize the main types of content these tools create today, such as text, images, code, audio, and video, and why that matters to your business. You'll also recognize key limits such as privacy, bias, and legal exposure, and apply basic safeguards. You'll also receive some quick starter use cases and examples of starter tools. Let's start with some foundational definitions. Artificial intelligence, or AI. AI is the umbrella term for computer systems that do tasks we'd normally expect from people, like recognizing speech, making calculations, translation, and even decision-making. Generative AI. Generative AI is one branch of artificial intelligence. It generates brand new content such as text, images, audio, video, or code when you give it specific instructions, as referred to as a prompt. Those specific instructions are prompts. Because it delivers usable material in seconds, this is the part of AI you can tap into first to move your business forward. Next, what is a model? A model is the recipe, so to speak, that your computer follows. Engineers train it by showing it millions of examples, such as emails, photos, code, until it can guess what typically comes next. Picture you have this long music playlist that's your favorite playlist. After enough songs are chosen, it predicts which one you'll probably enjoy next. It's the same idea with a model. In the same idea, just with words or pixels instead of music. So you'll hear me mention models throughout the course. It just means which version or recipe is best for the desired outcome. Finally, meet the large language model, or LLM. A large language model, or LLM, is a supersized text model trained on billions of words. To understand just how large of an amount of words we're talking about, imagine combining every library in the world, plus everything on the internet, plus most books in the bookstores. That's how large a large language model may be. And in practice, it's a giant autocomplete that can draft emails, summarize reports, or script social posts in just seconds. This is the core technology behind things like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. They are all large language models. You may also hear about Perplexity. Perplexity is an answer platform that integrates and uses multiple LLMs from different providers to answer questions, often with real-time web search and source citations. That's important. Now let's talk about the prompt to output loop. It's a loop because it's continuous. Let me explain. The prompt to output loop looks something like this. You prompt or give instructions, the AI model predicts, it returns a draft, and then you return with reviewing and verifying the information. You can run the loops as many times as needed to get the output and quality you desire. Let me explain in more detail. You prompt, for example, write a friendly thank you email for yesterday's call. A prompt can be as short as a sentence like that, or as long as a book. It can be simple or detailed. The more detailed, the better. For the purpose of this course and to keep things moving, I'll be showing you prompts that are fairly short. But remember, the more context and detail you give, the better responses you'll get. So keep that in mind as you follow along and practice the lessons that you'll learn here. For each prompt you make on your own, you want to tell the AI to ask you questions one at a time until it understands exactly what you need it to do. You may say, Ask me one question at a time until you have enough information to complete the task. Because generative AI models are optimized to be harmless and helpful, and for that reason, they often race ahead and try to fulfill your wishes rather than take a step back and wait to see what we really need. So give it information and make sure it asks you all the information it needs to answer your question. So next, after the prompt, the next part of the loop is the model predicts. It calculates the most likely next words. For example, if I say to you, peanut butter and you thought jelly, you just predicted the next word. Just like that, except an LLM can respond to complex completions, generating thousands of words in milliseconds. Now that you've prompted and the model has predicted, the tool returns a draft that appears on your screen. Then the last part of the loop is you review. You tweak the tone, verify the facts, and decide if what you have created is complete. If you want changes, then you continue the loop to improve. By that, I mean going back to your prompt and adding more context to get a better answer or a more thorough answer. That's it. Tool names will change. You could be using ChatGPT or Claude or whatever else comes up, but this 4-step loop is your constant. Master that rhythm and you can work with any new tool that launches in the future. Okay, so what can it make today? AI can help us create text, such as sales emails, frequently asked questions, social posts, using things like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. We can create images, such as website art, logos, graphics, ad variations, using things like DALL-E or Midjourney. We can create code with quick scripts and data cleanups through GitHub Copilot, Code Whisperer, and more. We can create audio, like voiceover drafts, jingles, music, using things like 11 Labs and Suno. And you can also create video for short explainers, product teasers, B-roll for your videos, even full movies using things like VO, Sora, Runway, Pika, Kling. It goes on and on. But this is very important, very important. New tools arrive weekly, so don't get fixated on any one tool or trying to figure out which one is the best because they are constantly changing. Once you grasp prompts, models, and human review, you're ready for any upgrade or new tool that comes out. So stick with me, learn the basics, and you'll be ready to move forward no matter what changes. Next, let's talk about the limits and risks of using AI in your business. Keep these 3 guardrails in mind. First, privacy. You want to cover up, delete, or mask any names or sensitive numbers before using public tools. If you're using a free version of any of these, you're sharing your information with that particular company. It is going out to possibly the public. You want to make sure that you use paid versions. Often these are very inexpensive, as little as $20 a month to protect your privacy. That adds another layer of security, according to these companies, that your information is not being shared. But I still suggest changing or removing client names, specific proprietary information before uploading this information to these platforms. For example, if I want to use OpenAI to examine a contract, I would remove or replace the names of the parties in the contract before submitting it to the tool. Again, paid and enterprise level tools can provide more security, but be sure you understand the limits of that security before uploading sensitive information. Another guardrail is accuracy. Verify statistics, legal language, or anything mission critical. AI can and does make errors, just like any smart human. So don't take the answers you receive as correct without reviewing them. While it can be extremely intelligent and correct, there's always a possibility for an error. So treat it like a super intelligent intern. Some experience may be required. And the third guardrail is ownership. Read each tool's terms so you know who owns the final content. It is possible that the output created by the tool is owned by the tool creator, not you. This is especially true with music and video content. Let's talk about use cases and some use case starter tools. Although we'll go deeper into examples in the course, I want to give you a quick example of the many ways that AI could improve your everyday workflow, as well as some example software tools that you can start with today. Here's an example. You hang up from a discovery call with a client and you need to send a polished follow-up fast. Here's the old way versus the AI-assisted way. In a traditional workflow, you flip through some notes that you scribbled down and fill in gaps that you missed while talking, 10 minutes. You draft a recap email from scratch, 15 minutes. You build a proposal outline, line by line, maybe 40 minutes. You proof, format, export to a PDF, 10 minutes. Totally, you spent about an hour and 15 minutes, and you still risk missing details that were never written down from your notes in the call. Now, let's look at an AI-assisted workflow. Your meeting tool auto-records and transcribes the call. 0 minutes because it happened during the call, hands-free, it was captured, nothing is missed. And then you take the transcript and you prompt ChatGPT and you say, summarize the transcript and draft a friendly recap email. 2 minutes between prompting and revising it. Your next prompt could be, using the same transcript, match our service packages to the client's needs and draft a one-page proposal. 3 minutes. You adjust the pricing, drop in your logo, export the PDF, 5 minutes. And now, for a total of about 10 minutes, you have a complete, detail-rich package to deliver to your potential client. The result is you reclaim over an hour and deliver a more accurate follow-up. Let's talk a minute about choosing starter tools. In this example, I only used ChatGPT. Here are a few other easy options, such as for note-taking, you have Otter.ai. You also have Zoom and other conferencing apps that have some of these features built in. Many will summarize the call for you when finished. And for writing, of course, you can use ChatGPT or Claude. And then if you need visuals, you have Canva.ai, also things from ChatGPT or Midjourney. And then for automation, there's tools such as Zapier or Make if you want to make the entire process automated. We'll talk about more specific tools later on. Now, let's recap this lesson. Generative AI means software that creates fresh content from a simple prompt. A model is a learning recipe. An LLM is a massive text-focused recipe. Every tool follows a prompt: prediction, output, human review loop. The loop is prompt, prediction, output, human review. That's the loop that every tool follows. AI can help you produce text, images, code, audio, and video, giving even small teams an outsized edge. While AI is an amazing tool that you can begin using today, always keep in mind your human responsibility of privacy, accuracy, and ownership. These fundamentals are your compass. Tools will evolve, yet the compass keeps pointing to faster content and sharper efficiency for your business. Here's a quick activity. Grab a notepad or open notes on your phone and list 5 places AI can save you time this week. Maybe the follow-up email, a LinkedIn post, meeting notes, or a quick proposal. Keep that note handy for our next lessons.